This interview is part of the History Heard project. The content of this interview may be used for historical research. However, no part of the video itself may be reproduced without the express written permission of an authorized representative of History Heard. Today is September 27th, 2012 at 11:30 a.m. This is an interview with Ambassador Anthony Harrington in Washington, D.C. He was born on March 9th, 1941 in Taylorsville, North Carolina. When the presidency changes hands in Washington and a new party gains the power of appointment, what is the impact on the functioning of the embassy? Is there a huge impact?
Well, all ambassadors are nominated by the president, confirmed by the Senate. Well, not all of them are confirmed, but if they serve as ambassador, they have been confirmed, and they represent the president. It's interesting, you think the ambassadors are part of the State Department. You represent the president in the country. The part of the reason and the advantage is that it's not just the State Department. It's all of the arms of government, from the Department of Agriculture, Justice Department, FBI, Commerce, Treasury, regulatory agencies and so forth. You are the representative of the president, and thus of all agencies that serve under the president, even though your intersection will be more with the State Department than it will be with other agencies. Since all serve at the pleasure of the president, first, most ambassadors are part of the career civil servants, a very talented group of people who serve the U.S. at various levels under the Department of State. And I'd say, I'm not sure, but maybe 85% of the ambassadors are career foreign servants who are appointed by the president. The rest are appointed without career background, but because of other service or qualifications or relationships and so forth. When a new president is elected, the ones who are not career, well, all ambassadors submit their resignation to the president.
Really?
When the new president comes in. The ones who were non-career appointees of the president, all presidents tend to want to put their own people into those positions over a process, and a lot of people have an interest in serving as ambassador and would like to serve in some of those positions. Obviously, it's a fairly small group, but so the so-called political ambassadors do turn over in a period of time fairly soon after a change in administration. I was still there for a while, was able to arrange a visit by President Cardozo with President Bush very early on with the help of then National Security Advisor Condoleezza Rice. The embassy continues to function pretty much with continuity. And over time, with the new administration, if there are changes in foreign policy, they will be reflected by the embassy as a whole and by the ambassador, whether it's a new ambassador or a continuing ambassador.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about your work as General Counsel to the Democratic National Committee? What does that entail, and how did you end up in that position?
I had served as General Counsel to the Democratic Party Charter Commission. Turns out the Democratic Party had existed until the 70s without any charter to govern it, and somebody decided that the party decided they needed one. Former Governor Terry Sanford of North Carolina was chairman of it, and someone I admired greatly. He was a mentor to me in my interest in public affairs and politics. He asked me to be chairman. I then worked closely with the Democratic National Committee and its leadership. Bob Strauss as chairman at the time, a friend of Governor Sanford. On the Charter Commission, there was a rather select group, many of whom are active today, like Nancy Pelosi and Steny Hoyer at the House, Senator Feinstein and Senator Tom Harkin and others. A lawyer from Iowa, Chuck Manat, was on the Charter Commission. A very talented group. I asked Chuck Manat about the possibility of seeking chairmanship after, as it was changing and Strauss was moving on. He was interested, did it, and said from the beginning he wanted me to serve as general counsel. It's an outside role. There's inside counsel who handles day-to-day affairs, but it's oversight of the legal affairs and sort of being a counselor to the Democratic National Committee and to the chairman and the senior staff of the Democratic National Committee. It was a very good time, very talented people serving at the Democratic National Committee at that time.
I understand that you also were part of the intelligence community. And how did that come about? Can you tell us anything about your work on the Intelligence Oversight Board?
There's a lot I can't tell you.
I'm sure.
You end up with security clearances that enable you pretty much to see any of the intelligence that the president has access to. But it came about in part because there was an opportunity for me to go into government after I had served as general counsel to the successful presidential campaign. I was at a stage where I was trying to slow down a little bit and spend a little more time with family, and wanted to do something part-time but substantive. On advice of folks at the White House, the service in the intelligence oversight area seemed to be the most interesting, substantive thing I could do on a part-time basis. I was chairman of the President's Intelligence Oversight Board, vice chairman of the President's Foreign Intelligence Advisory Board, and then vice chair of a congressional commission on intelligence reform. The Oversight Board is concerned with sort of compliance, wrongdoing, and so forth, making sure the intelligence community, which operates in a sort of unique landscape, is complying with the laws of the United States and the directives of the President. The others were focused on policy and reform more, but it was a very active time. There were various inquiries that I led in the Intelligence Oversight Board, some of which became public. One the President made public. The other, a reporter called me with information on the highly secret inquiry, and I recommended that we brief the congressional committees on it, because there was going to be a supposition that there was something very wrong that had been done within the intelligence community, and in fact there had not been. We found that it was clearly not. As a matter of fact, it was ambassadors and generals and intelligence following the course that they should have followed, I think. So in some ways the role was to address wrongdoing, avoid wrongdoing, and so forth, but the other role was to indicate, to make clear when there were suspicions that were unwarranted, to clear the names of people who've been wrongly accused as well.